Today, we're going to talk about one of the most fascinating countries in the world. A place full of contrasts, united in poverty, but with its sights set on a promising future. A country that is ready to rise to the big leagues and compete with the major global powers. Today we're talking about India. But why has such a promising country been historically so poor? What is it that positions it as one of the most promising economies in the world? And most importantly, will it one day be able to catch up with giants like China or the United States? Well, get comfortable, because this is where the story begins. Just 250 years ago, in the 18th century, India was a prosperous region. Its lands were incredibly fertile. It had a huge population and occupied a privileged place on the map. Its location was key, right in the center of one of the main trade routes in the world. The merchant traffic that connected East Asia with the Middle East, Africa, and Europe passed through its coasts. India was a place of abundance, until everything changed. Under British rule, India did not experience major technological or economic advances. Why? Because they simply didn't need it. The abundant labor force made it unnecessary to invest in machinery or infrastructure. With no factories or industrial advances, India was relegated to being a supplier of raw materials for the British Empire. The population was growing, but the economy was not. Poverty spread and protests began to grow, especially during World War II, when all the country's resources were devoted to the British war effort. But it was during this time that the peaceful resistance led by Gandhi began to gain momentum, culminating in India's independence in 1947. Independence was a historic moment, but also the beginning of a colossal challenge. The new India had a population of 320 million people and an overwhelming cultural and linguistic diversity, with 22 official languages and hundreds of dialects. In addition, religious tensions between Hindus and Muslims led to the creation of two new countries, Pakistan and Bangladesh. However, the most urgent thing was to industrialize the country to lift millions of people out of poverty. In the late 60s, and with some pressure from the United States, India began to open up to the free market. Some companies were privatized, bureaucracy was reduced, and the arrival of foreign investment was encouraged. This marked a major change in the country's economy. On the one hand, American factories began to move to India to take advantage of cheap labor. On the other hand, the huge Indian market opened up for American companies. One of India's greatest achievements has been its transformation into a technological powerhouse. Since the 80s, the country has been committed to education, especially in the computer sector. Thanks to initiatives such as those of Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, India has trained millions of engineers and technology specialists. Today, tech giants like Microsoft, Google, and Adobe have Indian CEOs. In addition, the information technology sector already accounts for 8% of India's GDP and generates more than $190 billion a year in revenue, most of which comes from exported services. Despite these achievements, India still faces major challenges. Corruption remains a problem, bureaucracy is stifling, and many regions still have internal tariffs that hinder trade. However, the country is moving forward. In the ease of doing business ranking, India has moved up from 142 in 2015 to number 63 in 2020. In addition, the government continues to promote reforms to improve competitiveness and attract more foreign investment. On top of that, the country has a great demographic advantage, a young and growing population. With higher literacy and education rates than in past decades, India is in a prime position to become the technological engine of the 21st century. The big question now is, can India catch up with powers like China or the United States in the coming decades? The history of India is a mixture of challenges, resilience, and ambition. Its past is marked by centuries of domination and poverty, but its future promises to be bright. Will it be able to become one of the world's great powers? That remains to be seen, but one thing is clear. India is not just a rising country, it is a nation that is ready to surprise the world. What do you think? Do you think India will be able to compete with China and the United States? Leave us your opinion in the comments. Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss our next videos. See you next time.